All right, it's your man's IRLnash. Welcome to the Pokemon.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your...
Is the NBA's greatest podcaster. So let's see what it's about. Bitch gonna cut me off. Cause I got a colorful aura. Like I got neon guts. You got some. And I got a colorful aura. Let me go full screen. Shit.
If you've scrolled on sports social media over the last year or two, then you've definitely seen clips and memes involving this guy pop up on your timeline. This is Jeff Teague, and this is Jeff Teague with Pants On. He's the only player in NBA history to become more popular after he retired. He hosts the podcast. That's a false. You can say Charles Barkley. Nah, you can't. Never mind. Yeah, you might be right. Called Club 520 with his two friends DJ Wells and B Hen, and it's taken over the internet. Teague has experienced firsthand some of the craziest stories the NBA has to offer, from physically fighting LeBron in the playoffs, to playing a game while drunk, to going half the season without talking to his superstar teammate Paul George for no reason, to witnessing Jimmy Butler's infamous Timberwolves practice meltdown up close. This guy has literally seen it all. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into the full career of Jeff Teague, detailing every single wild story that occurred.
Okay. Teague time. Before I was a Jeff Teague fan. I thought Jeff Teague was good when he played. I never thought he was like Chris Paul or nothing like that. But, and I know that's kind of whack that I said Chris Paul because he get compared to him a little bit because they both went to Wake Forest. But, I don't know, bro. There's something about Teague. I always thought Teague was just dope-ass hooper. Like, that nigga could shoot. That nigga could shit on niggas, bro. He was fire.
During the NBA, Teague spent 2 years at Wake Forest, where he evolved into one of the best point guard prospects in the country. What's crazy though is that the entire career of Jeff Teague could have been ruined because he almost got kicked out of his school. Back in the late 2000s, Teague used the software LimeWire to download all of his favorite songs. A common but illegal practice that many internet users did back then. The police ended up knocking at his dorm and arresting him, charging him for $5 million worth of stolen music.
What? This ain't real.
You downloaded over $5 million worth of music.
Oh, damn. Shit.
They like, you owe $5 million. Like, I ain't got no money. What the fuck?
How'd they catch him? Teague tried to download the Kim Kardashian tape and got set up. Ultimately, he cooperated with the police and escaped any real charges, just barely avoiding a career implosion before it could even begin. Steph Curry, James Harden, Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan, and Jeff Teague. This guy was a part of the legendary 2009 draft class. Coincidentally, this draft took place on the same day Michael Jackson died.
Damn.
Teague was watching from home with his family awaiting his name to be called. But once the news broke about MJ, his entire family burst into tears.
Oh my God, bro. I didn't even know the draft happened. Bro, I watched the NBA draft back in that time when I was a kid. I used to watch that shit all the time. 2009, that was my first year of high school. So, like, bro, I used to watch that shit all the time.
And completely forgot about what was supposed to be a life-changing draft moment.
They were at your house crying over the sudden passing of Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
and you're
getting ready. Crying for me. I'm about to change my family's life.
Teague, who was sitting on the couch listening to songs like Smooth Criminal and Beat It being played on the speakers, received a call from the Philadelphia 76ers. They told him that at pick 17, they'd take him and welcome him to the Sixer family. Well, you heard it here first. JT is going to the city of brotherly love.
Who got picked? Drew Holiday? No.
17th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. I was like, what?
Teague had been duped. The Sixers lied to him for no reason.
Hey, I'd have picked Drew Holiday over Jeff Teague for sure. Drew Holiday is a way better. Now Ty Lawson, crazy. That's crazy.
Later, who drafted him
Not
at the 19th
not never.
spot. One of the
Not
first
never.
lessons Teague learned when joining the league was how money was everything.
Drew Holiday for
When he
sure.
received his first check, it was $86,000 for 2 weeks of play. Then he looked over at his all-star teammate Joe Johnson's check and saw it was $2 million. There's levels to this. But in order to get paid, you gotta play well. And in order to play well, you gotta
Gotta get
play,
on the court.
which Teague wasn't doing. In his first 2 seasons, he averaged just 11 minutes per game. So what gives? During practice his rookie year, former All-Star and player development coach Nick Van Exel pulled him to the side and told him what he was doing wrong.
Shit.
He pointed out how everyone around him was getting paid tens of millions, and how Teague was only getting paid $1. Van Exel said Teague needed to put his ego to the side and feed the best players on the team. That would get him minutes and get him paid.
Throw him a couple pads, throw him a lob here and there. I was like, fuck scoring. I'm just going to be the best passer.
So Teague did just that, turning into a pass-first guard, finding Joe Johnson and Josh Smith during games to keep them happy and get playing
Dang.
time. Another thing Teague learned was how in the pros, everyone puts themselves first. Rather than working together, most teammates are competing against one another because everyone's trying to keep their job.
The older dudes don't want to help you unless they like on a super max and like
Or they really almost doing it.
I'm an established player and I know what you gonna do ain't gonna affect nothing I got going on. But if it's an older dude that might be like 2 or 3 years ahead of you that ain't got paid yet or they on the fence, they ain't about to help you. They might tell you everything wrong.
In his final game of his rookie year, Teague became the selfish one and refused to pass the ball. Since none of the starters were playing, he played all 48 minutes and shot a career high in field goal attempts, 19. He scored 24 points, taking advantage of the golden opportunity and ending his rookie year on a
Kobe
bang.
numbers.
But this one performance wouldn't be enough to earn Teague
I know
more minutes in
19
his
though.
sophomore season. He still wasn't taking his job seriously.
I wasn't doing nothing. I'm just chilling. I come to the meeting 5 minutes before the meeting. We got practice. I show up when Joe show up. I'm lit. Like, I'm out every night.
Then, veteran teammate Damian Wilkins pulled him to the side one meeting and confronted him, demanding Teague train with him or he'd fine him.
He was like, if you ain't here at 9 o'clock every morning to train with me, bro, I'm going to fine you every time. So he put a pink slip on my desk. It was $100. I'm like, ripped it up. Next day, another $100. Ripped it up. Next day, another $100. So he went to the GM, Rick's son, and was like, yo, young boy owe me like $500. Just take it out his check. And they did.
Damn.
After this, Teague had no choice but to start working with him. So the young podcaster trained and
Nigga finding you internally? That's crazy.
stayed ready, eagerly awaiting the day he'd get the chance to show the world he was more than a bench player. That coveted opportunity was presented at the end of his second year, the 2011 playoffs, where in the final game of the Hawks' first-round series against Orlando, starting guard Kirk Heinrich strained his hamstring. This was finally
Kirkio.
Teague's chance. In the blink of an eye, he went from getting DNP'd against Orlando to being thrust into the starting lineup against Chicago. When asked about this moment at the time, Teague said, "It's a tough situation, but these are the moments you live for." The 23-year-old starting in his first ever playoff game would be going up against the MVP of the league, Derrick Rose.
That nigga-
And Teague absolutely killed it. He scored 15 points a game.
That nigga is about to get torched, bro. Fuck all that shit. That nigga Derrick Rose about to torch this nigga.
On 53% field goal shooting. In the entire 82-game regular season, Teague scored over 20 points in only 3 games. In this semifinal series, he matched that total in just 6 games.
This young guy is playing great basketball.
In Game 3 at home, he and Rose battled, with the MVP scoring 44 and Teague scoring 21. Teague recalls thinking, "I'm out here dueling with
The nigga said battle? I got double the points you got, nigga. That ain't no battle. Nigga, you got fucked up.
the MVP. What the fuck?" Teague admired D. Rose as a player, so he took the challenge of guarding him personally. Rose embarrassed him as he did everyone
What's crazy is that
He hit a
eventually he
floater.
played with Derrick
Pulled up
Rose.
and caught that bitch. I said,
Hold on, he caught it out the net.
he caught it out the net.
Instead of going for 50, Rose called for Coach Tibbs to sub him out at 44, showing an unreal level of confidence and swagger that Teague was blown away by. The number 1 seeded Bulls eliminated the Hawks in 6, but this series served as the launch pad for Teague's career.
It did.
He continued to grow as a player after the 2011 playoffs and into years 3 and 4, transforming into a reliable starter on a contender. His passing had taken the biggest leap. From year 2 to 4, his assists almost quadrupled. In year 4,
I get why he talked the way that he talked about, you know, hitting a baseball and all of that other shit. And of course he's wrong, but he's a hell of an athlete, bro. If he had played those other sports, he would probably be decent at them.
He was good for 15 and 8 a night, with nearly 2 steals. Don't let Teague's joking personality fool you. This guy was a baller, and he was a coveted player entering free agency in the summer of 2013. As a restricted free agent, the Hawks had the option to either match the deal he received and keep him or not and let him walk. After 4 years of playing in Atlanta, Teague had had his fun, but he wanted to get the hell out. Primarily because he hated Hawks general manager Danny Ferry. Ferry had insulted Teague throughout the regular season.
Ain't Danny Ferry the coach for UConn? Right?
Yelling at him for his poor defense and sagging his pants. The Hawks told him they weren't going to pay him, saying to go find the money and then come talk to him. So that's what Teague did. He found a 4-year, $32 million deal from the Bucks and signed it. Then he called up the Hawks and warned them not to match it.
And I called him. I was like, I hate everything about you. I hate how you walk. I hate how you talk. I was like, I do not want to play for you. I don't want to be a part of your team. And he was like, okay, cool. Hung up the phone. I signed the extension. We all clapped in Milwaukee. The next morning, they take me to go find a house. He called me and was like, ha, 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 ha. That's how the NBA works. Way to do business. Good job. See you in Atlanta next week. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, we're matching it. Bye. And he just hung up. I came back to Atlanta.
Who was the nigga? My bad. But Daniel John Willard Ferry is retired NBA player, current general manager of the Atlanta Hawks.
Teague had gotten played. He was back in Atlanta against his will. He still preferred that over being in LA though. Earlier that summer, the Hawks had almost facilitated a trade to send him to the Lakers.
Hurley.
But Teague struck it down because he didn't want to play with Kobe Bryant.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't want to play with Kobe, bro.
In a regular season game between the Lakers and Hawks the next year, Teague dunked on Jordan Hill, to which Kobe angrily yelled at him, "You left me with this shit," pointing at Jeremy Lin.
He was pointing at Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. Like, what?
But there was one move the Hawks made this summer that actually benefited Teague. Their hiring of Mike Budenholzer.
Clearly you can see how bright this one is, but compared to this one...
An elite coach who introduced a fast-paced offense that helped Teague thrive in what was his best year as a pro in 2013-14. He averaged a career-high 16.5 points per game, largely thanks to his lightning speed that was even more enhanced in this new offense. This helped him get lots of recognition around the league. Fans called him underrated, with some even ranking him near the top of the point guard list. His nastiest highlight came in Brooklyn, where Teague crossed up his own brother, Marquise Teague, which Jeff called one of his favorite moments of his career.
He get in the game, I'm hyped, and I wasn't going hard at first, like, because I wanted him to do good, you know. And Coach Bud, like, you playing soft right now. You ain't going at your brother. So I'm like, yeah, you right. Man, I get on a fast break. I see in his eyes. I'm like, oh, it's me and him. I gave him the baby little then I gave him the big right to left, and he fell? Oh, my Lord.
Fun fact. Just 1 minute after this, Paul Pierce said this about the two.
Y'all the ugliest brothers in the league.
Check in for Kevin Garnett.
How far?
This season by Teague stamped him as an NBA starter. Long gone were the days of him riding the bench. The 25-year-old was here to
y'all the
stay,
ugliest brothers in the league by far.
2014 playoffs, where he averaged nearly 20 a game in a 7-game.
Who were the other brothers in the league at that time? Like in 14, the Morris twins, right? They was probably in the league. The Lopez twins was probably in the league. And who else? Probably Drew Holiday and his little brother was in the league at that time. Maybe. Like, what the fuck, bro? It was a lot of niggas who was brothers in the league, bro.
Series against the number one.
They might have been the ugliest
boys.
boys.
Such a great performance by Teague nearly helped Atlanta eliminate the top dog in the East. It also helped set the stage for what would be the greatest season of not only his career, but the Atlanta Hawks franchise as well. 2014-15. ATL won 60 games this season, their highest total in team
Atlanta
history.
was lit.
They were led by...
I know Atlanta was lit in 2014, 2015. Whoo, that was just when like Thug and all them niggas was dropping for real, and started really carrying the... And even Uzi, because I know a lot of people don't want to give Uzi, but Uzi really came out and then Fetty Wap. I know Fetty Wap ain't from Atlanta, but still... There was a lot of Atlanta shit coming up at that time.
Four All-Stars, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Kyle Korver, and our boy Jeff, who made it for the first and only time in his career. Interestingly enough, Teague actually regrets this accomplishment because it made him complacent.
That was a huge accomplishment, man. I was so hyped to make that team, but I wish I didn't make it. I'm saying that because I got comfortable. Like, I was on a hunt. Once I got the money, I wanted to be an All-Star. I was on a hunt. After that, I was good. I was like, I made the All-Star team. Yeah. I started saying what Smooth was saying. It's time to get paid.
It shifted his focus from accolades and career progression to money. The Hawks had the best record in the East and second best record in the league, only behind the eventual champion.
Yeah, you gotta play against LeBron James,
who Atlanta had handily beat at home in what was their highlight win of the season.
And Jeff Teague punctuates the victory with a steal.
Even more promising was how the Hawks had easily won the season series against the LeBron-led Cavs 3-1, including one 29-point blowout. They appeared to have the Cavs' number, and were hyped as the kryptonite to LBJ. Was Jeff Teague about to make history? Both squads met in the conference finals for the showdown of the century. But before we look at the biggest playoff series of Teague's career, did you know that every time you use the internet to watch Jeff Teague highlights, you're at risk for having your data stolen? VPN deal plus 4 months extra. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Now where were we? Before Game 1 of this series kicked off, LeBron approached Teague before the game and told him, "I figured y'all out." What did he mean by this? Well, on the first play of the game, Teague found out.
I was excited. I was like, yeah, I think we can beat them, because in the regular season, we beat them pretty good every time. And I was like, yeah. And I seen the first play, he ran a pick and roll with me. I was like, oh, that's what we gonna do the whole game? You gonna bring me in the pick and roll? It was over. I was like, I can't guard LeBron.
The Hawks got swept. Teague played well, but it wasn't enough to take down the well-oiled machine that was Cleveland. One of Teague's most famous podcast stories comes from Game 3 of this series, where he says he tried to match Bron point for point. Teague was off to a fiery start, and Bron said, "You better keep that going," to which Teague responded with, "It ain't gonna stop." Then Bron said,
"Well, let's see if you can outscore me." I was like, yeah. I had 19. What you end up with? 19. How much you end up with? Like 38.
It's funny because Teague doesn't do himself justice with this clip.
Shit.
The box score from this game shows he scored 30, while LeBron scored 37 in an overtime win.
But
he held the fort down against the best player in the world quite well.
Look at those numbers.
He held the
Look at those numbers. Look at the difference. Oh, look.
Let's
see the splits real quick.
The box score from this game.
Look at the splits. Look at the splits. No, they about the same, low-key. They about the same. Yeah, they about the same.
Shows he scored 30, while LeBron scored 37 in an overtime win. He held the fort down against the best player in the world quite well, actually. The Hawks lost mainly because they got hit with a series of injuries at the worst time. Most notably, their trusted defensive guard Thabo Sefolosha had been out for the rest of the season since early April after the NYPD broke his leg while arresting him.
That was one of the craziest shits, bro, in the world. How the fuck, like... How do the NYPD arrest a 6'5" nigga who playing in the...
One more year in Atlanta following this, with it being clear throughout the season.
And then break his leg.
And that his time there was up. The Hawks had his replacement lined up, Dennis Schroeder.
Got a screenplay in your head but not on paper? Meet Squibbler, the AI scriptwriter that turns your ideas into professional screenplays in minutes.
Who Teague called the most annoying player he's ever been around.
Oh my God.
With it being clear throughout the season that his time there was up, the Hawks had his replacement lined up, Dennis Schroeder.
Oh God. Oh God. How, bro? How? The longevity in this forehead is crazy. Damn, G. You went the distance to find that hero to be right where I belong. Head ass.
Who Teague called the most annoying player he's ever been around.
But who's the most annoying person you would say that's trash talking on the court?
The most annoying was probably Dennis Schroeder.
Schroeder was drafted back in 2013 and had been talking smack ever since.
All that funny shit. Dennis Schroeder is cold, though. Dennis Schroeder is cold. And
he told Teague how one day he was going to be the starting point guard.
The assistant GM was sending him stats like, you're going to be a starter one day. Like, you're going to be the guy. You're going to be the guy. Like, your stats compared to his stats. But he was showing me. Like, he didn't even know. Like, yeah, I'm going to start one day. Wes said I'm going to start one day. And I'm like, you talking to the starter.
Schroeder was from Germany and apparently didn't realize that in America, you're not supposed to do stuff like this. Another sign that it was time to go came in March, when after a game, T got into a long conversation with his sister, and the Hawks team bus left without him. T called them and told them to come back. When he came back on the bus and playfully confronted them about it, Coach Bud told him to shut the hell up. The Hawks took a step back and only won 48 games this year. In the second round of the playoffs, they once again lost to LeBron and the Cavs in yet another sweep.
Because y'all saw who was at the goddamn 1 seed. The Cavs.
Making Teague's playoff record against LeBron now 0-8. In Game 3, Teague finally had enough of the Bron show, taking matters into his own hands and shoving James into the stands.
I win a playoff game against that
he
nigga
got
ever.
death threats.
I was sick of the shit. Fans in Atlanta cheering for him. He running down the court. I say, you know what, bitch? I got something for you. I got so much hate mail. If he would have been hurt, I would have killed you, bitch. I was like, damn, I gotta get off the internet. That's when I first deleted Instagram.
After the season ended, Teague was moved to the Indiana Pacers in a 3-team trade, ending his 7-year era in Atlanta. He was now with Paul George in his hometown of Indianapolis. He ultimately spent one mediocre year here, highlighted by a few funny stories. He didn't speak to PG for 4 months during this season. They talked during the games. But after, the starting point guard and starting wing on a playoff team literally did not say a word to each other. They walked by each other in the hallways, then communicated on the floor like nothing had happened. It got to the point where their teammate Aaron Brooks had to step in and
Hey, weirdos, bro. That's just weird shit. Both of them weird. They weird. You don't do that, bro.
Them to break the silence. Then they became cool again. Why did they go so long without talking? Teague has no idea.
Off the court, we just didn't talk. And I don't even know why.
There's a running meme in the NBA community that Jeff Teague is everywhere, meaning that in what seems like every historical game, you can find Teague somewhere on the court watching it happen.
Like, that nigga was on, was that Derrick Rose 50-point game for the Timberwolves?
For example, Teague was directly responsible for this iconic meme. The reason
he said, kill that nigga Cat. That nigga Cat said no.
Marcus Cousins was looking like this was because from the T-Wolves bench, Teague yelled at Cat to start backing him down.
I was like, Cat, bust his ass. I said, what? Bro, it's a picture. Cat posting up. He looking at our bench like.
One of the most famous games Teague got to witness was Klay's 60-point game on 12 dribbles this season. Teague mentioned how it wasn't him who was getting fried by Klay, but teammates Monte Ellis and Paul George.
I didn't guard him. That wasn't me this time. Nope, y'all can look it up. Wasn't me.
Switching on the screen?
Nope, I wasn't doing none of that. I was guarding Steph.
He a piece of shit
It was
teammate.
Monte and PG. He was doing us so bad. I remember PG didn't start on him. I give him that. PG was like, I fucking got him, dude. You know, I got him. 25 this quarter. I was like,
damn.
What's so funny? We was only down like 15 or something like that.
That nigga
was like, we right there. Aaron Brooks was like, look at Klay Thompson on the stat sheet. He whispered to me
like, bro, 15 for 22 is crazy. 5 for 9 from the 3 is crazy, bro. That's crazy.
I was like,
in the playoffs, I'll let you guess who the Pacers got eliminated by. in another sweep, making Teague's playoff record against LeBron now 0-12. I understand why he pushed him. I also understand why he jokingly
was on steroids, bro.
Steroids. Anyway, Game 3 was the closest Teague ever came to beating Bron. The Pacers were up by nearly 30 at halftime, and Teague walked into the locker room thinking this was it. His first win against the King. Then he overheard LeBron yelling to his teammates, "We good." The Pacers blew the lead. But all was well in the world of Jeff Teague, because he was about to get paid. He had a fat check lined up with the Pacers. All he needed was for Paul George, who was in a boatload of trade rumors at the time, to commit to staying with the team. After the season,
guess what he about to do?
Teague and PG went to a baseball game in Indy where George received a roaring cheer from the fans. Teague told him he had to stay. He'd win MVP here. PG agreed.
He like, man, I can't leave this shit. I'm like, yeah, man, you gonna be MVP, man. I left that baseball game like, ching, ching.
Then he checked his phone and saw the notification. Paul George requests trade. His payday was ruined. The Pacers didn't want to keep him because their eyes were now on a rebuild. So, Teague went to Minnesota on a 3-year, $57 million deal, where he was hesitant to join at first because he believed Minnesota is where careers go to die. He actually lost out on $5 million just because he was so against joining them at first. His agent ultimately talked him into it.
So Tibbs called back again and was like, well, we're at 3 years, 57. My agent was like, all right, we gonna sign. So he called me back, like, we signed with Timberwolves. I'm like, man, no fuck, I didn't. He was like, yeah, I told him you said yeah. I was like, nah, I'm in Orlando. He like, I've never met somebody, he started yelling, that's pissed about $57 million. I was like, I'm pissed. I'll take 42 from Indiana. He like, nah, man, I'm not letting you make that mistake.
He would be joining the Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns show, which remains to this day one of the most entertaining sagas in NBA history. It all started in the preseason where the T-Wolves matched up against the Warriors. They were in China in an arena with 100,000 fans in attendance. Teague was guarding Curry and played the hardest, toughest defense of his life.
I played the best defense, the hardest defense I ever played in my life.
Why?
I wasn't trying to get embarrassed. You know, it's 100,000 people in the stands in China.
Coach Tibbs even came to him after the game and told him that was the greatest defense he'd ever seen him play. Steph scored 44. Then a few games into the season when the T-Wolves started 2-3, Butler came to Teague and told him that this trio they had of he, Wiggs, and Cat wasn't going to work because these two simply didn't have that dog in them. Teague would eventually witness the explosion firsthand a year later in practice. Teague's best moment this year came in the final game of the regular season. In what was a play-in game before the play-in concept existed, the winner of this Nuggets-Timberwolves showdown would get the 8th seed. In the final minute of overtime, Teague drove inside and hit a floater to give Minnesota the lead. The shot that helped end the Timberwolves' 14-year playoff drought. A shot that Teague was scared to put up. Minnesota already hated him because they had paid him a lot for average play, so he didn't want to be the guy that made the mistake in a high-pressure situation. But he came through in the clutch and sent them to the playoffs. Teague's second season with Minnesota was overshadowed by injuries and drama imploding the team. He got to witness firsthand the infamous Butler practice. He described how Butler came into practice and played with the third stringers in the scrimmage.
Jimmy Butler came in there and beat their ass with some G League and 10-day contract niggas, bro. Beat the fuck out of them niggas. From what I heard multiple times. Then left. Didn't say shit. Hopped on a plane and went and had a motherfucking interview with Doris Burke. Shout out Doris. No, I don't know if it was Doris Burke actually, but somebody.
Cat and kicking the starters' asses, beating them 18-6.
Jimmy's going crazy.
Y'all think that team can win without me? I'm him. Pay me. Mind you, he ain't took off his Jordan warm-up yet, right? He finally takes it off. He got the Timberwolves shirt on, but he cut the Minnesota out there, so it's just chest. He like, I just beat them with the G League.
Cyber Monday deals have arrived. Score up to 20% off Thomas Shell Packs or power up with a Simmons Titan.
This is your starters? So now I'm laughing. I'm still crying laughing, but I'm like, oh, he talking about me.
Yeah, I was like, he talking about you, nigga.
stepped into the locker room and left the arena.
We go in the locker room, ESPN pop up.
You know what time it is?
Rachel Nichols and Jimmy Butler on TV.
Yeah.
We like, what the?
Butler ended up getting traded to Philly, and Minnesota embraced the tank, with Teague sitting out 40 games with varying ankle injuries. After this, his career started a downward spiral. So I guess Minnesota really is where careers go to die. Fun fact, Teague believes the reason he was traded from Minnesota was because he shot too many mid-range jump shots. After nailing a mid-range jumper at the end of the second quarter, Teague overheard the Timberwolves coaching staff yelling about how he quote-unquote wasn't buying in.
They was just like, yeah, we gotta get you the out of here. You're not part of where we want to go. Now you should just think like, I hope Minnesota lose every game. Every time Minnesota lost, like, I just went out and had a great time.
He went from Minnesota to Atlanta for a brief 25-game stint. When he arrived in ATL, he was greeted by teammate Jabari Parker, who told him he had just come to an effed up team. Teague asked him why, and Parker told him to wait and see. Then Teague had a meeting with Coach Lloyd Pierce where he told him that no matter what he did, he'd only get 18 minutes a game. If he scored 30, he'd get 18 minutes. If he scored 0, guess what? 18. Whether he liked it or not, Teague was being forced into the veteran mentor role rather than a reliable guard like he used to be. One story that stood out this year, though, came when he played against the Wizards with Isaiah Thomas. IT was once an MVP candidate, but due to injuries, he had severely declined and was playing poorly in DC. In Teague's own words, "I'm one of those people who will kick you while you're down." So he talked smack to IT, who responded ferociously.
I said something, he was like, everybody start talking now. I ain't hear you where everything was good. Like, nah, he got me out my body. So I shot a 3 and I missed bad. He like, he trash, bag up, he trash. He's like talking crazy. But I'm like, you on the bench, bro. And I couldn't get him to shut up because I wasn't hooping.
In late 2020, Teague signed with the Celtics on a 1-year deal. The 2020-21 season would be his final year as a pro. In Boston, Teague was referred to by the coaching staff as Jet, not JT like he had been his whole career. This was because the 22-year-old Jason Tatum had the JT title instead. Talk about it down.
That's like Melo right now.
Everywhere you go, like
when you say Melo, people don't be like people my age do, but most kids and younger people, they not talking about Carmelo Anthony. They talking about LaMelo Ball. And they not talking about, like, when I say Melo, I be like, bro, that nigga Melo is cold. And they be like, he still is. Like, yeah, the podcast doing great. Like, no, nigga, what you mean, Charlotte? I'm like, oh, yeah, no, not that nigga. The real Melo. They be like, that is the real Melo. Who else is Melo? Like, these niggas like, oh, Cayenne's dad. All right.
would be able to keep your initials. Like, your name's Jeff Teague. So when we go on the board, I'm looking at Brad, and Brad like JB, KW, Jet, JT. I'm like, who the fuck is Jet? And he's like, Jeff Teague. I'm like, my nigga, you can't.
Evan Turner, one of the funniest niggas in the world in basketball though too, bro. He don't give a fuck.
Older than Jason Tatum. He can't get his initials.
Then in April 2021, he was traded to Orlando where he was cut. So he signed with the Bucks, reuniting with Coach Bud. In what was a fitting way to end his career, Teague's Bucks made a 2021 finals run. Some of the first clips that really blew up from Teague's podcast were ones of him recounting moments from this run, like how against the Nets in the semis, Teague started packing his bags after Brooklyn took a 2-0 series lead. Then once Kyrie sprained his ankle, Teague said how the Bucks realized, oh wait, we can actually win this thing. In the conference finals against the Hawks, Teague had the last great moment of his career. He had hardly been playing throughout the playoffs thus far due to knee issues. But in Game 6 with Milwaukee up 3-2, he scored 11 points, shooting 3 of 3 from downtown, helping bury the Hawks and send the Bucks to the finals. A fitting moment of glory. Teague had defeated his old team.
That's fire. That's fire. That's fire.
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what your song needs. This is co-producer, the fastest way to find samples that...
In the finals, Teague barely played, so he didn't care. As shown by a viral clip in this series that shows Giannis desperately trying to fire up his team, with Teague standing there.
Look at that nigga Teague in the background, bro. He like... Shit. All right.
Looking bored with his hands on his hips. Apparently, he was waiting for Giannis' speech to end so they could move out of his seat. When the Bucks won it all, Teague was asked how he felt.
Bro.
Oh, me? I just got an A on the group project. Ah!
What's great about
dog, that nigga is hilarious. I feel like I just got an A on a group project. Bro, he said he drove from Milwaukee to Indiana and jumped on the fucking game. He didn't go out and do nothing. He didn't chill. Sure, I know he probably was able to get a little hose, came through the crib, maybe back in the day. You know, maybe I'm dirty macking, I don't know. But nigga said he drove from Milwaukee to Indiana. That's 5 hours, right? Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying that? I'm almost certain that's 5 hours. We about to look it up real quick. Milwaukee. Hold up. Distance from Indiana to Milwaukee. Yeah, 4 hours and 15 minutes. Why did I say point? Don't even say point. It say 4 hours and 15 minutes. Like, that's literally what it says right there. And I said point, like a jackass. Anyway.
Winning the finals is the after party. But T couldn't even experience that because the after party was trash. Giannis didn't want to go party with the team, so all the plans just fell through immediately.
So after the game, obviously you do the champagne stuff in the locker room. I'm walking around with a big bottle of tequila. They like, yeah, it's a party right there at that club. We going to party, I swear to you. It's about this many people in there. Like, yo, where the girl? Like, well, nothing in here? Like, I ain't got nobody. Then the coaches came in there. I'm like, the coaches? And they kids? I'm like, the kids. PJ, like, we got to go to Vegas. And everybody was like, nah, I ain't going.
Literally right after winning the championship, Teague hopped in his car, drove from Milwaukee to his home city, Indianapolis, and hopped on 2K with his homies.
You just won the championship. Why are you at home playing the game? Lame ass.
And that, my friends, was Jeff Teague's NBA career. Off he went, driving into the sunset, headed home to play 2K, not caring about the title he just won. Stories like these really help propel Teague's podcast, Club 520, to be one of the most listened to sports shows on the internet. Teague's great storytelling has gained him more fame and popularity than he ever had in his playing days, which is unheard of for athletes. Who would have thought that he'd have all these insane stories? The future of NBA media, everyone.
Hey, that was a good one. I fuck with that one. Shout out, dog, on that. This is Dylan Does Basketball. We're gonna subscribe to him just because it seems like he got some pretty cool videos, and let's check out maybe one or two of them. That was good. I fucked with it.